Yo, I'm Ira Cross, a working actor and model, giving you my insights as well as the insights of other people into the world of film, photography, acting, modeling, sound, all these wonderful, amazing things. This is the final episode of season 1. But before I go any further with this episode, I have to say this. Happy Father's Day to all of the pappies and poppies and fathers and popses and all of y'all. Happy Father's Day to everybody. But I have to be very specific in this shout out to my father specifically, Ira Cross Sr. Happy Father's Day, Pops. I love you. I appreciate you. I love all the positivity that you bring. I love you supporting me on this and every other platform I've ever created and done. I love you for supporting me in literally everything that I've done and being like back behind me, pushing me with all the positivity you have. I thank you so very much. Happy Father's Day, Pops. On to this episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about getting paid. Getting paid, get them ducats. I'm not going to go into every little tiny detail of getting paid in the industry of acting, modeling, what have you. I am going to touch on net 30, 60, 90. I am going to touch on agency fees, and I'm also going to touch on what I do with my money when I get paid, when I get that check. So the first thing is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to understand. Net 30, net 60, net 90. Typically, you're on a net 30. Now, what does that mean? That means that you worked for a client, you did the work, and it was awesome, you killed it, you was like, you did whatever you need to do, and now you're waiting to get paid. So net 30, 60, 90 is from the time that you did your job to when you get paid. So that means that the client has, if it's net 30, they have 30 days to pay you. Technically, they pay the agent. I'll get to that in a second. Then net 60, 60 days to pay you. Net 90, 90 days to pay you, right? Like I said, typically it's net 90. We'll come back to that in a second when it comes to agency fees. So I kind of touched on this in a previous video with agency fees. Like, you probably don't even remember it. I remember it because I made the video. Duh. Anywho, agency fees. Typically, your agency will take 20%. So if you make $1,000, I'm just using $1,000 because it's a nice, round, beautiful number. $1,000, your agency will take 20% of that and leave you with $800, right? Nice, round, pretty beautiful number to think about, okay? So you're left with that $800. Boom, going from there. Your agency also might take 15 or 10% depending on the situation. Like I said, 20% is pretty standard industry stuff. 15 to 10, that is involving union, SAG, AFTRA, what different things come into play for that. It is not typical for it to just be 10 or 15. It's typical for it to be about 20, but it also can be situational. So know that your agency is going to take a little bit of money because they earned it. So what do I do with my money when I get my paycheck? Let's stick with the example of $1,000. Now, I know I made $1,000. My agency will take 20% of that, leaving me with $800. The current tax bracket that I am in falls between 22 and 24% income to be paid in terms of tax. In other words, I'm not making hundreds of thousands of billions of dollars. So what I would typically do with that $800 is I would take 22% times 800. However, I like to give myself a buffer. So I actually round it out and I bump it up to 30%. So I take 30%, multiply that times 800. I get 560 left over to me. And then I take 240 and put that in a savings account specifically just for my taxes, no other purpose. So when it comes time, April, actually before then, I got all of my money saved up from every paycheck I've ever gotten for tax purposes alone. Then, because I like to save for emergencies, I take 15% of that 560, which is 84, so 15% times 560 equals $84. Take that $84, put it into my emergency savings. That leaves me with $476. just to reiterate, we started with $1,000 and we ended up with $476. Now, you're probably like, why don't you just keep that money, bro? And I'm like, I can. I absolutely can. Also, I'm not telling you you have to do this. I'm just telling you what I do with my money. But the reason that I don't keep it all is because, number one, you have to eventually pay your taxes. Number one. Number two, you will have an emergency situation where you're going to have to reach into your emergency savings. And letter C, number three, you got to be smart with your money. You just have to. Now, I'm sure people do different things with their money, and I would love to hear your suggestions, your strategies, what have you, in the comments below. You got a thought? Share it. You got something that I can do better with my money so that I can manage my money or handle my money even better? Let me know. I am by no means a financial expert. I'm just telling you what I do with my money. It's that simple. Thank you again so very much for watching every one of these videos. I so appreciate it. It has been so much fun to create these 10 episodes over this amount of time and just have fun with it. I love that I'm able to teach and help others and also learn on my own along this journey, because people have been giving me insight to different thoughts and different things to help me improve not just my craft of acting, but the business side of things, the minutia, like the small little understanding that you don't really get if you don't either go through it or talk to somebody who has. And so for me, I've been hoping that these videos will help to cultivate the spirit of acting for sure, and modeling, and as well as film and photography and the world around it. But more importantly, I'm hoping to help people be more comfortable in understanding the little pieces of acting, modeling, film, photography, sound, all those different things. And I'm trying to make that world come closer to the better understanding for anybody who watches it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Ira Cross.